financial management, management of resources, intellectual resources, and then management of human resources. So today we are going to talk about what we call the financial management. It is a very important aspect. Whether it is a library or any other organization, the financial management is of utmost importance. Without money, we cannot do anything. Even in your own houses, being the head of the family, you may be judiciously managing what are the amounts. You may be preparing budget every month, what you are going to spend. You may be preparing inventory. What are the materials? What are the groceries? What are the things you are going to acquire in that month? If already existing certain things, you may either decrease the quantity of purchase, or if there is nothing available, you may purchase as per the previous month or as per the requirements. So financial aspects are very much important in every household, where you are doing every month you are making purchases, acquisitions of different materials required in your houses. Similarly, even in the organizations, the financial management has got very much important. It is very much important to manage whatever is given. If there is no money, you cannot make any purchases. Even in organizations, there may be staff, you may be a librarian, you may be having staff, you may be having readers, but you are not going to meet their demands if you are not able to add new things from time to time. Yesterday we have seen the collection development is a very important aspect, where you are providing additional materials, additional new materials to the users. So how those new things will come unless until you have got money? Money is required not only for adding new resources, money is required for maintaining the existing level of services which you are providing in the library. For example, if you have got a Xerox machine, okay, you have purchased once, toner is finished. If no money, how you will purchase the toner? If paper is finished, how you will purchase the paper for providing photocopies? You have to pay the monthly or annual, whatever it may be, the charges for internet services which you are providing to your users. So all services, even if there is, suppose you may need some amount to create additional infrastructure facilities in your library, maybe a small partition. You maybe require money to have some tables, some chairs, some additional furniture.
Sir, which subject is sir?
This is management of library and information centers. Okay.
Course 2, sir.
Pardon? Course 2. Course 2. Yes, paper 2.
Okay, just now it has started.
Yeah, just started.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please continue. So today I am taking up the financial management. Yesterday we have seen about the collection development, and today we are seeing the financial management. Okay. Let us see from where the money comes in a library. As I told, money is very much important for library, whether it is a public library, academic library, or any other library, you require the money. So from where, what are the sources from where money comes? If it is a public library, you know, there most of the public libraries are established by these respective state governments in different states. How then provide you money to manage those services which you are providing in a public library? We depend on library cess. The library cess is collected. How the library cess is collected? It is over the property tax which the government is collecting from each individuals having houses, and about 6 to 8% of that cess collected over the property tax. Suppose we are paying 100 rupees as a tax, then about 6 to 8 rupees is collected towards library cess. And that collected cess from that particular city, particular area, that amount is collected by the government, and they will provide you giving additional money, some matching grant, etc., to manage the library, particularly in public libraries. But in academic libraries, normally academic means related to education. Maybe school library, maybe college library, junior college or degree college, maybe PG or university library. So those particularly the university or colleges are managed by, they are affiliated to a particular university. And all universities comes under the aegis of University Grants Commission. And University Grants Commission every year allocate budget from whatever they are, government is allocating to education department for educational budget. Out of that, they allocate some amount to the university as the budget for that university. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, chapter 10, sir, is it? Chapter
Unit 10. Unit 10.
Okay.
So you get the money from University Grants Commission as the budget allocated to a particular university, and university out of the allocated budget, normally they are allocating some 6 to 10% of the budget received towards the library spendings as a library budget, and you may have to procure it. Whatever you have to take that budget, make it allocations subject wise, make allocation as per the requirements item wise, and utilize the same throughout the financial year. Throughout the financial year, not at a time. You have to distribute the expenditure throughout the financial year. Let it be for services, let it be for procurement, let it be for any library related expenditure. So it is the job of librarian, including his senior library staff, to item-wise distribute the allocated budget and accordingly make the expenses, whatever is there for the throughout the year. If you see your study material, you may find that some people define the budget, its definition and all. So that is, of course, whatever the definition is there, that will be applicable to us. Without knowing the definition, we are making the things automatically. All those things will be covered. If you see your study material, page number 162, you may see how they are defining. It says budget is a statement of the financial position of a sovereign body for a definite period of time based on estimates of expenditure during the period and proposals for financing them. Naturally, you should know what are the items on which you are going to spend the money. What are the services on which you are required to spend the money? So you have to prepare the estimates and accordingly distribute the budget. It is what is budget? It is a statement of the finances, financial position. So if you see another financial expert says, Herman C. Heiser, what he says, budget is an overall blueprint of a comprehensive plan of operations and actions expressed in financial terms appear to meet the basic requirement of the new law. You see, it is a blueprint. Blueprint means what? You prepare the blueprint for our house plan. Is it? Before getting sanction, before starting the work?
Loan.
Okay. Yes, please. Anything?
Yes, sir, blueprint.
So blueprint is a plan. So it lists out what are the items on which you are going to spend the amount. How much amount is required? So it is a plan, financial plan. We call it as a blueprint of the plan, budget or financial statement, you can call it. And some more definitions are given by Bryson, Job Bryson and all. What he says that budget is the financial statement which is prepared and approved for a specific period of time and which provides details of the proposed expenditure and revenues. So what he says, what is a budget? It is a statement of financial proposals, what you are going to spend, and also the money which you are getting, revenues. You may say, what are the receipts? What are the revenues of a library? Library is not doing any business, but still you will get certain things. What are these things? Suppose you are getting newspapers. You are going to sell those newspapers because it will not have the long-term value, in particularly in academic libraries. So though that amount you are adding, you are providing photocopies on payment, that money which comes as a revenue. If you are getting other money from other sources, whatever you are getting is your revenues, your receipts. And on the other hand, whatever you are going to spend, that becomes your expenditure. But if you want to just have a look, you see your page number 165 of your study material. You may see a chart given on the top of that 165 page number where revenues have been classified as income and other column stands for expenditure. What are the things which is your income to your library? Block grant, UGC grant, allocation from the parent body or organization, cess or taxes collected, gifts and donations, fines and overdue, deposits, if you have got deposits, registration fee if you are charging, endowments, donations, sales and proceeds from old newspapers, interest on deposits, recoveries, all those things have been listed under the revenues or the income for the organization or the library. Similarly, if you see the right side column, you may see the expenditure. Two types of expenditure it has given. Recurring, which every year you are required to spend. That is, we call a recurring expenditure. And on the B, if you see A and B, under non-recurring expenditure, like under non-recurring, building, extension of building, purchase of equipment, purchase of furniture, machinery, computers, Xerox machines, all those things you do, not do every year, isn't it? If you are spending on building, it will be there maybe for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years or more. That is only a non-recurring expenditure. You may purchase a table which may last for 30, 40 years. You may purchase a Xerox machine or a computer which may last for 5 to 10 years. So all those expenditure is known as non-recurring expenditure, because that expenditure is on the capital item. Capital items remains for long time. And the recurring, which you require always, salaries, wages to staff, books, subscription to current journals, binding charges, stationery, postal charges, rent and loans, if there is a higher building is hired, and then insurance, photocopy, service, training, seminars, National Library Week celebrations, cultural programs, all those items are recurring items. You can't say how much amount you will exactly require for that. They are, you have to make estimation based on the previous year's expenditures. How much you paid for journal subscription. Suppose you have paid 10 lakhs for journal subscriptions, it may get a little bit enhanced, maybe 5% increase, 10% increase, 10 may become 11 lakhs. Books last year, if you have spent 3 lakhs, this year it may become 3.5 or 4. So like that, you have to make estimations. Normally in central government organizations or other state government organizations, the financial year starts in from which date? What is the date, starting date of a financial year?
May 1st.
31st March.
31st
March.
It starts from 1st April. It starts from
1st April.
1st April, ends on 31st March.
So
in the January itself, 3 months before itself, the PMA division, planning and monitoring and budgeting division will be there in government organizations. They will send the notices to the different sections, departments of the government, including the library, to prepare the budget estimates, how much you require in the next financial or the coming financial year. You have to prepare how much for journal subscription, how much for books, how much for services, how much for the stationery, how much for the toner, how much for the computer service, everything break up. Making those things, you have to give the figures to your planning and monitoring department or your finance department, telling that this much amount you require in the coming financial year. We call those things as budget estimates, which you are supposed to, as a librarian, you are supposed to prepare. You may, if required, you may consult library committee. If normally committee may not involve. As a head of the division, you are supposed to know what you have spent in previous year and how much you are expecting in the coming financial year. So you have to send those figures with probably some breakups, recurring, non-recurring, to the finance department of your organization, and they will consolidate the figures received from different departments and forward it to their parent body, maybe CSIR, maybe defense, maybe ICSSR on behalf of that. Whatever your parent body of your organization is there, you send the figure to them. They will again consolidate it from all over India and forward it to the finance ministry. And the finance ministry's job is to, whenever the budget is presented, before that they will consolidate the figures received from different departments and how much money they have collected via taxes and other GST taxes, whatever it may be. Based on the available money, they will allocate the budget to different ministries, based on their requirements. And again, in turn, the ministries...
This is what we call as techniques of budget preparation. Huh?
Pardon?
This is what we call as techniques of budget preparation.
It is overall techniques, no doubt. It is a technique. You have to prepare a budget. And how you get the money. I am explaining you how the parent organizations allocate money to the libraries. That is under the budget only. Okay? Financial management. So, whatever the ministries, they will distribute as per the requirement to different parent organizations, and the parent organizations in turn allocate to the institutions or organizations working under them the amount. Whatever amount is there, that figure, they will give that this much budget is allocated to this organization and this much is for this. And based on that, again, the head of the organization or the institution further allocates the amount to each department depending on the estimates you have submitted to them. So now it is general how the government prepares budget and allocates to the organization. Similarly, you have to prepare the budget. So in general, if it is seen, what are the methods of preparing the budget? There are certain methods which you have to follow. What are the methods? Normally, in your syllabus, whatever is given, it is the same which you have studied even in BLSC also. Same thing is there, only the thing we have to see the some additional points here. What are the things? The library budget is of four types. How you prepare the budget? You can prepare line by line budget. One method of preparing the budget is what we call line by line budget. Second is planning, programming, budgeting system. We call short form PPBS. Sometime in your short notes also in examination comes. Based on the planning, programming, budgeting system. And another method is what we call zero-based budget. So ZBB, and then side budgeting. So in line, what you do while preparing the line by line budget, if you see your, I will tell you the page number where it has been described for your information. You can go to page number 169 and see the different budgeting techniques or budgeting methods have been described. That is line item. That is line item means you have to find out the different items which require money in your library. What are the things which require money in order to maintain maybe collection development, maybe providing service, maybe providing reference service, maybe providing some documentation service. You may be requiring money. So you have to item-wise analyze and appropriately allocate the money, maybe for the purchase of books, maybe for the subscription to the journals, maybe for the providing photocopies, bibliographies, literature search. Item-wise, you have to describe. Of course, normally, if you see in budgeting techniques, they include one item, salaries and wages. Normally, salaries and are not required to be included in government organizations. We are never asked to estimate how much salary is given for the library staff. It is the finance department, the accounts department of the organization which calculates the things. They are not included in the library budget as such salaries and wages and all those things. Only the things, what are the items on which you are required to make the expenditure, those things only are to be listed. How much for journal books, how much for journals, how much for reports, how much for what we call e-resources. If you are subscribing to some databases, bibliographic databases or e-resources or full text databases, you have to provide all those details and the amount required for that, particularly in special libraries and university libraries. If it is a school library, minor expenditure may be there on the library, not as per the colleges or particularly university and special library. We spend at least 1 crore rupees for the special libraries expenditure to be met in a research organization. In the present context, I am telling, it will go beyond 1 crore rupees every year to be spent for journal subscription, for services, for the purchase of books. So huge expenditure is required. So you have to item-wise, line by line means item by item, you have to prepare the requirements, present it to the finance department, whenever of your organization, whenever budget is allocated, you have to keep a register, expenditure register. In our libraries, what we do, we keep a expenditure register in which we mention how much amount is allocated in the beginning of financial year for journals, for books, for services. Separately, we will make the columns and we will monitor the expenditures we are making from time to time. Normally, the expenditure register shows how much you have spent on a particular date on a particular item, give the total. Next, when you spend, you have to add what further you are adding to the expenditure, give the cumulative total, what we call cumulative total. I am telling you the practical aspects which you are supposed to maintain in a library. Without that, you will not be, unless until you have a cumulative total, you may not know how much amount you have spent as on a particular date and how much amount is remaining out of the allocated amount for that particular item. So it is very important that you take up this maintain your registers of expenditure, and from time to time monitor it and provide it. And then another type is there, budget. We can say the budget based on planning, programming, and budgeting system. Planning, this is a long-term goal. Even in our organization, they used to also tell annual budget estimates we provide to the finance department, but sometimes periodically they are telling us to prepare the 5 years estimates. How much you are going to spend next year, then further next year, like that, up to 5 years. What are your plannings? How you can plan for next 5 years? Unless until you find out the objectives or goals which you are going to meet in the next 5 years, next 3 years, next 2 years, or in the coming year. So you have to plan it, set the goals, and in order to meet those goals or to meet those objectives, what you have to do? You have to prepare a program of action. How you are going to take up those things which you have mentioned in your estimates, in your plan, which you have mentioned that you are going to next year. Suppose next year we are going to provide 5,000 or 10,000 copies of photocopies to the users. We are going to next year, most probably we will be having providing so many literature searches, but maybe further next year we are going to add to our users database some more users. You have to have in your mind certain planning, and that based on planning, you have to prepare the program. What are the what enhancement you require in infrastructure? What enhancement you require in the purchase of equipment? Do you want to add further terminals, such terminals or computers in your library, because the number of readers are increasing? So you have to plan for those things, and plan and prepare the program, and accordingly execute those programs so that the services and your library work progresses. Because your library is what is the last principle of Dr. Ranganathan's law of library science? Yes. Which is the fifth law or law given? What it says?
Library is a growing organism, sir.
So it is.
Library is a growing organism.
Yes. Good. Yes. Good. So it is growing organization, growing in number of readers, growing in collection, growing in services, growing in space, growing in infrastructure, all growth. So how that growth is possible? Unless until you prepare a plan for the growth of your library, you cannot have a set goals. First, you have to set the goals. When you are going to meet that growth plan, and then accordingly make plans, programs, and then that when programs are there, accordingly you propose the financial increase estimates, you provide estimates, and you get money. You know how the things are going in library. Budget also is growing. Library is growing organism means It is not only growing in how the growth will take place in collection, how growth will take place in readers, how growth will take place in other aspects like services. Similarly, a growth is needed, enhancement is needed in the financial allocations only. If you just go to any university library or any organization's special library, tell them to show they or tell you how much amounts they have got for different years. So they will there will be a steep increase in the allocation to the budget based on the performance, based on the planning, based on the programming. You will get the increase in your budget. If you see your page number 172, 71 of your study material, you may find a flow chart is shown. Flow diagram is given for planning and programming budgeting system. There it says objectives. From objectives, go to programs to achieve those objectives. That means you have to prepare the programs, item-wise programs, that how you are going to, first thing, defining objectives, and next thing is preparing programs to achieve those objectives, and then term plan is how much time you are going to take to implement those programs which you have prepared. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Spread those things accordingly. How do you make those term plans? Based on the management information systems. And then accordingly improved budgeting mechanism to take program decisions. You require more money as per the plan, as per the programs. So spend those things. And finally it says, translate program decisions into budgetary decisions. Naturally, suppose you have planned that this year there are 5 computers for users to use within the library premises. You are going to make it, instead of 5, 10. You are putting for searching the catalog to one system, but you plan it for 2 systems or 3 systems. You plan for, last year you have procured 200 books, but this year you say in coming years you are making it instead of 200, 300, 350, 400. So naturally you require more things. So as per the set programs, you have to ask for the money, present the estimates, get the budget allocated, spend accordingly. Make those programs executed. How will we executing the programs? Based on the your planning, based on your programs. So another thing is given nowadays. It has become a thing of the present, that zero-based budgeting. We call zero-based budgeting. There, whatever the things you are giving, previous year things are not considered at all. What we do, we suppose certain services have become useless. You remove those services, start a fresh zero budget. Whatever things is allocated, we are not considering the past, how much you spent for the journal subscriptions, how much you spent for books. You plan a fresh, prepare a fresh list of journals. Do you require that much what you have spent last year? Do you want to continue the same subscriptions which you have done the previous year? We replan the things. We replan the things because you circulate the journals list to the users Are you still using these journals or not? So what you will do? Some people say we don't use, this has become old now, this has become irrelevant as per the present projects, and remove those things. Prepare a fresh list. Prepare the first estimation, how much amount you required. And to each requirement, you have to give justification. Why you want to cut certain things, why you want to add something new, you have to give the justification. You are providing photocopies free of cost. Is it required? Because when you are providing, you have switched over from print media journals to online journals, where the reader gets 24/7, 365 days, all articles needed by them on their desktop. They can save it whatever they want, no restrictions. Still, do you want to provide them photocopies? Why to make extra expenditure? Reduce the expenditure on that. Minimize the expenditure on that. Means for each item of expenditure, you have to, when you are proposing in under zero based budget, you have to justify a service, justify a material to be purchased, and then start a fresh. This kind of thing they have started in USA some time back, and they have, if you see your study material, it says PYHRR. He was the person who introduced this kind of system in Texas Instruments Company, and the government wanted to, US government started making it. Even in our country, even in our CSR system, government ministry has asked to introduce the zero-based budgeting, I think about 10, 12 years back itself. Though here it says they started in 1970s, but I am talking about 2005 and 2010, in between itself, we received instructions from our government to introduce zero-based budgeting in different organizations, including in the library. And another thing is there, the budget can be based on the performance also. How you have performed in the previous year. Based on performance, your budget will be given. If your performance was bad, then allocation will be accordingly reduced. So based on the activities, based on the services, based on the functioning, the budget was prepared and given, what we call performance-based budget or performance budgeting. Of course, in government organizations, normally, as far as library is concerned, if we talk about special libraries, but every year, there is no question of reducing the services. Always there is a demand for increase in the services to be provided to the researchers, provided to the what we call faculty or scientists of the organization. Various types of programs, various types of projects are undertaken in the research organizations, like there may be team research, there may be relay research, there may be group research, because always demand will be there from different industries. Mostly there is a interaction, or there is a assistance among the industry and research organization. Research industries give the proposals, they give the projects to the what we call the organized scientific organization. They enter into what we call memos of understanding, MOS we call. So the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, that they will get money from those sponsored projects. The sponsors, industrialists, they provide the money to the research organizations, and these researchers work for those industries, gather the data, do experiments, provide the result to the sponsors, and in turn, those sponsors utilize the data for the commercial activities and for the benefits. So this is, in nutshell, if we say what are the salient features of financial management in a library. This is given in your unit 10. Please read the, yes, please, yes.
Sir,
Pardon?
I have wondered, identification of decision package means what, sir? Ranking,
Identification?
here, ZBB, identification of decision packages and ranking of decision packages.
Yeah, what you want to do in an organization in the future, based on that, packages are identified. Means you, how much service you and what kind of service you are going to provide in the coming year. You have to say, for example, procurement is one package. Service is providing services to the user, one package. Providing computer related. So you have to make decision as a package and put in order of importance.
For every object, we have to give a decision.
Every kind of service, every kind of aspect which you are going to provide to these users, you make in the form of package, and then rank it according to the preference. Which one is more important, which one is less. So based on that, money is given by the organization to the...
Okay, sir. Lump sum budget means what, sir?
Lump sum means they will not, you need not item-wise decide it. Now, how much for journals, how much for books, how much for services, that is not required. They will say, we are giving you 10 lakhs for this financial year, and you spend that amount as per requirements. Lump sum means giving some one type amount. Total amount.
Okay, thank you.
So now the time is up for you have to attend the next class, I think, by Dr. Ramesh. So please, we will meet on next Saturday and take unit number 11. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
No
Okay,
mention.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No mention.
Thank you, sir.
No mention, please. No mention. Okay.
Sir, commonly we use, sir,
Tell me.
I have a small doubt, sir. Commonly in every academic libraries we have a budget, sir.
Yes.
So what is the difference between the general budget and the zero budgeting system, sir? And
No.
I mean,
Yes, I am telling you, normally the general budget means whatever budget is allocated by the university to the library. Suppose it is a university library. Normally, how you prepare the estimates, based on those estimates, amount is allocated by the university to the library. So how you are preparing estimate based on the how much you have spent last year.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it?
Yes.
So,
Yes,
but
sir.
in case of zero budget, there is no relevance of previous year what you have done.
Okay, we don't take the past history. We have
We
to start
don't take the past. We
Okay.
simply what you want to introduce in the current year.
Okay. Have to
So
plan
you
for the
remove certain services which you have given in the past, you can cancel those services. So you can modify the list of journals. You can prepare a fresh estimate and do accordingly. No need for previous year's things seeing. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
No, madam.
clarifying.
So, okay, we'll meet to next class. Okay.